Standard 10th, Subject History, Chapter number 2, Historiography, Indian Tradition. Writing of biographies of kings and dynastic histories mark an important step in the Indian historiography. Now, when the short note is asked on Indian historiography, this point has to be included in your answer. So, writing of biographies of kings, this was written by the authors of those kings' times, and dynastic histories, who were the ancestors, who ruled the kingdom after whom. Everything was recorded, and everything is an important step in Indian historiography. Harshacharit, written in 7th century CE by Banabhat, is King Harsha's biography. So what is King Harsha's biography known as? It is known as Harshacharit. It was written by Banabhat. It portrays a realistic picture of the social, economic, that is financial, political, religious and cultural life during the king's times. So this Harshacharit mentioned all these details regarding the history. That finishes us with the historiography in the ancient period. If we go back to the previous page, number 7, we come to know that there is a small box given to us, which is good to know. It is not important to know, but it is good to know. It mentions about the Sohagaura copper plate. They have shown us a picture. The copper plate was found at Sohagaura district, Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. It is supposed to be from the Mauryan period. Mauryan, anyone remembers what is the Mauryan period? The period which was important for Chandragupta Maurya. We have seen that serial in the TV. They have given us great detail about him, what all he had suffered, what all he has gone through to become a great king of Akhand Bharat. That was the dream of his guru Chanakya. The inscription on it is in Brahmi script. Now there are various scripts. First we have Devanagari script, which we are using right now in the form of alphabets for Sanskrit, Hindi, Marathi and Gujarati. All are Devanagari scripts. This was written in Brahmi script. The symbols known as tree in railing and mountain at the beginning of the inscription also occur on punched, marked coins. So the symbols are known as tree in railing and mountain, that always appears at the beginning of the inscription. It is recorded in punched and marked coins. Another symbol which looks like a structure erected on 4 pillars is supposed to be indicative of a granary. Granary means where the grains are stored. The inscription records a royal order that the grains stored in the granary should be distributed carefully. It is supposed to be suggestive of precautions taken in the times of a famine when there is no rain. What are the laws prevailing at that time? Which are the rules and regulations to be followed? Everything is mentioned in this particular declaration. It is in the form of an inscription on a copper plate. Now, coming back to the historiography in the medieval period, the style of writing Raj Tarangini, the history of Kashmir by Kalhana in the 12th century CE, is quite close to the concept of modern historiography. Now, in the medieval period itself, we have this particular Raj Tarangini, which is written in the form of modern historiography. Kalhana himself says that he wrote this text after critically examining various sources like inscriptions, coins, remains of ancient monuments, dynastic records and local traditions. Critically examining means he has questioned. Whatever he got the source, he questioned about it. He found the details about it. He confirmed and reconfirmed, verified and re-verified, and then going through various sources like inscriptions, coins, etc., he came to a conclusion and wrote in his own style in the form of Raj Tarangini. This is about Kashmir. In the medieval India, the historians in the courts of Muslim rulers were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. Now, India has been ruled by various rulers and there have been various changes in the kingdoms. And in medieval India, the historians which were present in the courts of Muslim rulers, they were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. So their style of writing about India is Arabic and Persian. Among them, Ziauddin Barani holds an important place. This particular person holds an important place. In Tariq-e-Firuz Shahi, a book written by him, he has stated the purpose of historiography. He has mentioned why historiography is important. According to him, the historian's duty, the person who is writing history is called a historian. It is his duty. It is not only limited to the recording of the ruler's valor, ruler's courage, and policies of welfare, which he is doing good for his people, but he should also write about the ruler's failings. What were the drawbacks? What were the negativities present in that king? That should also be written by the historian. This was Ziauddin Barani's views. And also about incorrect policies. See, any person on earth, he can never be 100% right. You, me, all of us, we can never be 100% right. There is a saying, if you have never failed, it means you have never tried something new. You have only been repeating what has been done by others before you. So there are lesser chances of failing. You fail only when you try doing something new, which has not been done by anyone else before. So that way, through trial and error method, you come to know which is the right way of doing things. Yes? Before coming to the conclusion of inventing a bulb, Thomas Edison, yes, the bulb was invented by Edison. He had gone through 150 medals, which were not the correct ones to light a bulb. But repeated trials and errors led him to the discovery, to the invention of a light bulb. Coming back to our description, it is important that not only the positives but also the negatives of the king should be mentioned in the history. That should be the important purpose and important notification, the way of writing history of the historian. Barani further says that a historian should also take into consideration the impact of the teachings of the wise. This is completely non-political. The sages and the saints, or the religious people who are imparting knowledge, who are imparting wisdom, irrespective of who the person is, they are completely apolitical. So even this knowledge should be recorded in history. So the teachings of the wise, the learned, the saints, and their effect on the cultural life of the people should also be recorded. The king may have one line of thought, but that line of thought is not always that is accepted everywhere. Different people have different beliefs, different people have different knowledge imparted from different saints and sages. So everything should be taken into consideration. Thus, Barani expanded the scope of historiography. This allowed the historians to write about so many various things. For the historians in the Mughal courts, praising the emperors and exhibition of loyalty became more important. But during the Mughal era, the historians, they found that if they write only positives about the king, if they write only about the good things about the king, they are considered as loyal. They are getting rich rewards from the king. The custom of adding suitable poetic quotes and beautiful pictures was also introduced. Some historians, they wrote in the form of a poetry, a few stanzas in the history. Some introduced pictures by painting. They didn't have cameras and selfies at that time. They had to paint in those era. So pictures were also introduced in the books or scriptures written as history. Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, wrote an autobiography titled Tuzuk-e-Babari. Now, Babur, who was the first emperor who had founded the Mughal Empire, he had written his biography. Autobiography means story about self, life story, what he has gone through in his life, and that was known as Tuzuk-e-Babari. It contains the descriptions of the battles fought by him. Babur also recorded his minute observances of various regions and cities travelled by him, including the local economy, customs, and the flora. Flora means the vegetation, the flowers, the plants, the trees, and fauna. Fauna means the animal species, the insects, the animals, the reptiles, the birds, that is called as fauna. F-A-U-N-A, fauna. Abul Fazl's Akbarnama is a very important from the viewpoint of critical historiography. Critical means not only writing about good things, also questioning about the wrong things. His method of collecting authentic historical documents and their scrutiny is looked upon as devoid of bias. He was not biased towards anyone. He was completely neutral, and hence his historical viewpoint was realistic. It was not only to praise Akbar, it was not only to write good things about the king, he also wrote what was wrong, what was bad. Again, we come to a small box where they inform us about do you know? Al-Biruni wrote in Arabic about Indian knowledge and social life. Now we have this person called Al-Biruni. In the following period, after him, many books about India were written by foreign scholars. Among them, to name a few, are Hasan Nizami's Tajul Ma'asir, Minhaj-e-Siraj's Tabaqat-e-Nasiri, various works by Amir Khusrau, Tuzuk-e-Timuri, the autobiography of Timur Lang, who was also known as Amir Timur, who invaded India. Tariq-e-Mubarak Shahi by Yahya bin Ahmad Sirhindi. Their accounts provide us with historic information of Sultanate period. Now, all these writers are from the Mughal era. This piece of information is not important for your exams, but it is only good to know.